Hello, I am so honored to be sitting with you both right now. Bobby, Brianna, welcome to Coffee and a Good Vibe. How are you doing today?
We're doing great.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm honored, truly honored. There's so much I want to go into. And also, if you guys are not watching the video, Brianna and I showed up in the exact same outfits. Literally matching, no plan.
To a T.
It's not even like we're wearing like a trending, I don't know.
No,
It's
like it's a t-shirt and jeans, but the
like
jean tone is
jeans,
identical.
Belt, boots,
yeah.
Like
It's off to a
We're
good start.
clearly aligned.
I know. People think
Meant
like
to be.
we're on a roll. Like the past 3 episodes we've done with our guests, we've been matching, and it's like not planned.
I love it.
I love it. On the same frequency.
I love it. I know.
Just
We're aligned.
shows, yes.
We're aligned, and we're gonna have the best podcast of your life. Are you ready?
Let's do
Yes.
it.
Okay, so let's kick it off by my favorite thing, like getting a little bit of a background on you both. I would love to hear a little bit of context on the abundant humans that you both are and the birth of this beautiful brand that you're building. Also, brother-sister duo, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're co-founders of O Positiv, and we're a women's health company that specializes in making supplements for women that suffer with issues like PMS, menopause, and all of the kinds of lovely issues we deal with as girls. So our background is kind of funny. Bobby and I were living together at the time of O Positiv's inception. And I was working at Disney as an interior designer and really struggling with my PMS and period pain. And Bobby, as being a sympathetic younger brother, noticed that what was going on. It was kind of like I was calling in sick all the time, all this drama. And he's like, there's got to be something that we can do. And Bobby is super into the wellness space and very fitness focused and healthy, and was very intrigued by natural solutions for common ailments. And we really were so inspired by this question of a way to naturally address PMS symptoms, not through something like birth control or something like Midol, something that was a proactive solution and natural. So we dug deep, started doing all this research, and found out that there were all of these natural supplements that have been clinically proven for thousands of years to help with these symptoms. So we set off to create a supplement that was all natural, that would help with all of these ailments. And our first product that we launched was Flow. So this is her, and the first ever PMS gummy vitamin. And then we just really wanted to expand on that. So we realized pretty soon after that there were so many other ailments that women deal with. Like I get chronic UTIs. There's all of these other issues that we wanted to address. So we really set out to do that.
Oh my God. And the journey's been ever evolving since then.
Yeah.
Did you guys know, what it would, when you started it, did you feel it in your, when you were getting that first kickoff, okay, this is going to be something so big? And we're going to get into it later too with how it's scaled.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, did you always envision it growing into this huge women's health brand empire?
No, I don't think that was really the intention. I think the intention at the beginning was really laser focusing on Brianna and how do we solve her problem and really focus in on that. I think it's important to kind of use Brianna and her life as an example of, she was looking at her life and saying, if I'm dealing with this every single day, then there must be millions of other women dealing with it. And Brianna started as the guinea pig. She was the one that tried all of our products. To this day, still is our first test subject. She's tasted some not so great tasting gummies, so the world could taste some really great tasting gummies.
Yes.
I love that. I should take one for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just so interesting talking to all of my friends and my mom and learning that so many women were dealing with these issues, but so quietly.
Yeah.
It was something that just wasn't talked about. And we were just meant to be like, oh, yeah, it's just life. I'm like, I don't know about that. let's find a way to fix that.
I know. A big question. Like, what is the mission that you guys are on? If you could, like, kind of sum it up. O Positiv, I know you have so many different lines, but, like, what's the overall mission, ethos, why you exist?
Yeah, I think there's two key points that we've spent a lot of time thinking about. I think one is O Positiv exists to be that partner for women throughout her entire life. So from the moment she gets her first period to the moment she gets her last period, how can we build products that you can feel and measure the results? So we want to be different than your typical multivitamin, right? Where you don't know if it's working, different than maybe a mushroom supplement.
Or like vitamin C,
You're not sure if it's measurable. How can we make products that you can feel and measure those results? I think is kind of those two things are the ethos of what has scaled us from a product really focusing on one issue of menstrual health to broader women's health.
Yeah. Oh, let's go there now then. I want to kind of go into like the different products because I feel like it'd be helpful then when we go into like the big vision. But like, what are the various product lines that you guys have? Like, what are all the problems you're solving with each one? I know we have it here too, so you can even pull them. And yeah, like how do those even come about? I think it's so beautiful, when a successful company, any successful brand is solving a problem. So like, yeah, maybe you can explain like each one, the various problems that you've uncovered. Yeah. And how you're solving it with each one.
So Flow was our first product, and that was really trying to solve the PMS whole animal that is. So the cramps, the bloating, the mood swings, the hormonal breakouts that people experience. So Flow was our first baby. And pretty soon after that, I would say to expand our product line with things like Meno, which is our menopause supplement that our mom helped us develop actually. Yeah. And then we went into our vaginal probiotic Uro, our UTI supplement Uro, and our Flow ovarian support. Yeah. So with kind of the philosophy behind developing our future products was one, personal experience, right? Yeah. And the experience of the women around me. I struggle with ovarian cysts. I struggle with UTIs, like I mentioned, and PMS and all of these things. And then the second thing was really inspired by our customers. So after we launched Flow, we saw this really special community that started building around our product. And we would see it was absolutely amazing.
So cool when you like create it and you see it in the world.
Yes, and it was kind of unexpected. Like obviously we were so thrilled to see reviews come in and the way that we were helping people.
Were you just selling online at this time?
Yes. Yeah. But then what started happening, which was kind of cool, was in our ads, in our social ads, particularly Instagram, Facebook, there would be women communicating with each other in the comments. So cool. Suggesting different things, saying how the supplements helped them, what they wanted to see next. And that was so inspiring to us. And at the time, I was doing our social media in the really beginning.
Yeah, how many years for contact?
5.
Okay.
So we're 5 years
5 years old.
5 years old. Guys, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not even that much time.
I know.
5 years
it's flown
is not
by.
A lot of time to me.
No.
To have this success that's crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was interesting in those early days to see our customers, these women, become our R&D department, become the ones that were driving what our products would then become. And the early adopters, the people that would test it soon were the people that were in our comments, were in our comments section of our ads, talking before even our customer service could reach them, right? They're like, oh yeah, I tried it. You should take it for 2 weeks. Or, hey, I want this result. Oh, well, try this product that they offer. They were our biggest advocates.
And asking for things from us. So like we launched Flow first with our gummy. And that was our main product. But then we got so much response for people asking for a capsule version or a sugar-free version. Wow. So they really helped us in moving forward with our overall brand, which was incredible.
And is that how, like, moving forward, even like with future product lines, are you guys kind of using that same model of like consumer first? Like just ask them, or are you guys like have another way that you're formulating? Like, what's the process now for brand innovation?
Yeah, I think it always starts with the consumer first. I think it's the best way of how brands are built is that's where we come up with our initial ideas because they are the ones that are at the end consumer. So we kind of take what this initial idea would become and then run a couple processes. We're really proud that we formulate all of our products in-house and then we kind of go to our experts, right? We want to find the best people in the industry to kind of partner with. So our medical advisory board, these manufacturers that can do really interesting things with products, make great tasting products, and kind of slowly but surely over usually the course of a year, piece together what would be kind of the first iteration that then we take to that very small group of early adopters to go try.
Yeah. What would be your best piece of advice to someone listening? I feel like a lot of people have this, right? They have this like idea of like, oh, I want to build this product, but I have no idea how. What would be your best piece of advice, and any kind of advice that like would hit that on someone to kind of take if they're in this state where they want to build a product? What's your best piece of advice to start?
I'll let Bobby also answer this question. But one of the things for me that I would always say that is actually inspired by Bobby, because he was really the one that led the charge of O Positiv. So when we came up with this idea, it was just an idea. And I think what really made the difference was that Bobby had the determination to actually take it to the next level and created the deck and went.
That's like not my personality.
Yeah. Yes.
And like good team.
Did the spreadsheets and did all these things where so many people I feel like have incredible ideas every single day, but will just stop at that point and kind of be like, it's a great idea. But to me, what really makes that difference is the determination and dedication to following through with that idea and doing the work. And that's something that I've been so inspired by from watching my brother do, because I didn't necessarily have that same determination at first, but watching him create, like not letting the idea go, I was like, oh my, and look what happened, it's just that extra mile of believing in yourself and creating something and not taking no as an option is just kind of amazing. But Bobby, I'll let you say your advice.
Yeah, it's in a very similar vein. I think it's everything is focused on people and surrounding yourself with the best people. And it's this kind of lesson I learned along the way, which was know what you're good at. And surround yourself with people that are so much better at the other things. Me and Brianna have very complementary talents. Brianna comes from a design background, can build a brand in a way that I couldn't. I can build a spreadsheet in a way that she can't. So it's this wonderful give and take that is like the fundamental point of how we built the team around us is this wouldn't be possible without the team around us. And how do you find people that are great at things that you need to support in and kind of build this all-star team that scales up. I think no one has to do it alone, and it's very difficult to do it alone. So it's find people that complement you that you can then scale and grow the business.
It's a family business, which is what I love.
It is through and through. Our parents helped us buy our first 8,000 bottles, so the whole family's involved.
Yeah. Okay, so I know like finding a co-founder, I think it's so the pillar you guys said about like finding people who have like the opposite polarizing kind of strengths and weaknesses. Like your strength is maybe your weakness, and that's what makes that dance work. What do you think is like the secret sauce to like, how do you guys, I don't know, because you guys are a proven recipe of success. You guys are probably pro family business, like working with your significant other. I know everyone has their own opinions on this. Like sometimes you meet people who have like large platforms and they're saying like, never get into business with like your boyfriend or your, but clearly it can work. And what else would you say are like maybe the 3 key things in a co-founder or a family business to make it just work and scale to the measures it has for you guys?
I think that working with family is unique in a way that there's no other option than to make it work.
Oh, love that.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're connected for life. Like we're in this together. So no matter if there's an argument or a disagreement or something, like at the end of the day, like there's no other option than to like fix it and be besties and make it happen. I don't know. What is
I think one of the biggest reasons for our success and I think our family business working is this idea of having swim lanes in a very positive way of saying that. It's that we can own our domain. We can be entrepreneurs in our own right without stepping on each other's toes. Of course, we step on each other's toes all the time. And we do get in heated arguments. But at the end of the day, we are like, hey, you want to come upstairs for dinner? We also live a floor apart. So we're like, hey, you want to walk upstairs and have dinner? And you're able to talk these things through. But it's this trust you have for that person to own their domain, for Brianna to work on the brand and kind of run the creative direction, and for me to help with operations and finance of the business. And I think having that trust is part of the thing that makes it work.
I completely agree. I think that trust is like also you win on the timeline, on like having it also like genetically like connected. Like you win on all those fronts where like, when you're looking for, I think that's also another, like if someone's listening and they're looking for a co-founder, you can totally find that in someone you don't know yet. But
Absolutely.
I think it's just more vetting and more time and more, like you have to kind of date anyone you're getting into business.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, It's a lot of like learning someone, and then when you think you know them, it's like, no, you don't. You got to know like in all parts of them too, like in every area. So,
and that is kind of a benefit, I feel like, of working with family is you do know that person inside and out. Like you know what you're getting into a little bit. Whereas, like you said, like a co-founder that you don't know, you have to date a little bit. You have to learn everything about them and see their good and bad. And so that is a benefit of working with family.
Oh my God, I love
know them from the start.
You do.
Oh, so much goodness. One of the things I'm so excited to dive in with you guys is on how you guys have scaled this behemoth of a brand. Like, O Positiv is continuing to grow, and I've been following along so closely. And there's three, and I'm going to get in with each of these three areas because I see like, okay, the one piece is the content marketing. And I think anyone listening, like you need to have these three things that you guys have dialed in, which is the content marketing piece, the brand activations, IRL events, experiences, community building, but in person. And then the third layer is like the retail expansion and the product placement that you guys have. And I want to go into each pillar because I think you guys have mastered all three. And anyone listening who has a CPG brand or wants to build a brand, you need to kind of master all three in order to have like that scale and that massive abundance that you created for your brand. So starting with content marketing, you're talking about a topic too that's not fun. Like you were talking about the issues that you've dealt with as a female, and it's not fun to talk about it. Maybe like no one wants to go on their Instagram and be like, so I'm dealing with now I think you guys have normalized it, which is amazing. But what has been your approach to really scaling on socials?
Yeah, I think the core of what it comes down to is telling authentic stories in a genuine way that feels native to the platform.
In a fun way. You guys, content's so good.
And being a little cheeky about it, right? So I think it's how can you tell these stories in a way that gets someone's attention within milliseconds, but also talk about them openly. We're able to make products of things people talk about behind closed doors, and our brand is built on the fact that we yell them from the rooftops. So we're blessed with really good attention-grabbing topics. And then you back that up with authentic stories of people's real experiences that resonate with millions of people. And that was kind of the turning point where it went from, beautiful looking ads to then an iPhone filmed in someone's bedroom telling their story about their experience over their life, where then the business just really started growing.
I love that.
We really like to take these taboo topics head on, and make women feel heard and not alone, because so many people I talk to at events or, just girls that I talk to at a brunch, they're like, oh my gosh, I have that all the time. I talked to somebody yesterday and they were like, I have PCOS. I'm like, oh my gosh, me too. And they're like, I deal with this and that. And I'm like, me too. And it's so comforting to feel heard and get that relatability. And for people, I think, to open their phones and, you're fed so many ads every single day, but to maybe come across something that makes you feel heard and seen and also give them an opportunity to maybe help alleviate these pains or issues is what we really try to provide for our customers. So.
And you make it so fun and captivating. And I think it's it's so powerful too when you see a CPG. I've seen very few brands, like product brands, do like have their brand page have such a fun, polarizing personality. I've seen it with personal brands. It's easier to do as a person, right? Because it's like you are multi-fat, and like people naturally, like people buy people, they gravitate towards people. But when you do it with a product-based brand, there's few brands I have on my like list. I love like geeking out on this stuff, and there's few brands I always use as case studies, and you guys are definitely leading the pack with that.
Thank you.
And another thing I want to also mention is like both of you guys being founder facing. I think like being open to Brianna, sharing your story, opening up with your struggle, and like doing that to, at the end of the day, like you're inspiring women, but then you're also like growing O Positiv, right? And same Bobby, like your personal brand, like you are so like forward with your socials and active and just got Forbes under 30. And like, I think it's so important for founders out there to brand themselves, because I think the people at the end of the day, they want to hear that story. Yeah. What is your whole like mindset around that? Because both of you guys are, you both clearly value it. And I think it's such an important piece of the pie.
Yeah. I think it's really exciting, and I think that it took me a second to get comfortable with it.
Yes, talk about that, because I think I know I talk to founders all the time, and so many founders are like not comfortable in the beginning, but then like year 5, maybe they're like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah. I think especially in the beginning, because we were talking about such personal issues, it was definitely a little bit of a slow start for me to be so vocal about, talking about people's vaginas, like so candidly. Like I was just like, all right, let's go. So at first it was a little bit of like a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. I'd look at people in the eye and just be
vulnerable story. Your brand.
No, I know.
So
it is.
It's not like you're selling like chocolate, like for
yeah. So it took me a second to be personal or like, open about it. But then after the connection that I would get after these conversations and with our customers was so inspiring and so just like, selfishly just so validating too. It made me just feel a lot more confident about it. So now I'm like, let's talk about everything.
Any opportunity.
They're like, oh, TMI, nothing's TMI, babes. Yeah. Let's get into it. Yeah.
TMI is a green flag.
We love TMI. So yeah, it was definitely, but now it's
ripping a Band-Aid off.
Yeah. Yep. And now it's something that I really am excited about and trying to even get into more.
Yeah, I see you, New York City on I see you.
Yeah, so it's been great.
And I feel like you see that reflected in people, and that gives you good feedback, right?
Yes.
Like you see people that you empower by telling your story, that feel more comfortable, that can see these issues, that then you're like, wow, now I want to speak more about that.
Yeah,
that is like, it fuels you up. It's this loop of feedback.
You know what I tell people to do? Yeah. I tell people to screenshot positive messages when they receive them on like a podcast. Always. And then when you feel low or you feel like not showing up or you feel like not creating, then you look through that, like the screenshotted album of like, I have one for like Coffee and a Good Vibe Love, and I like will read that because I get him. It's a business too, and it's like you get in your head sometimes of like, wow, like I'm just another podcast in the world, or I'm just another brand, or I'm just another like entrepreneur who's building my own personal brand. Like they don't need it helps.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We do the same thing
with our DMs,
with our reviews and DMs.
Yeah.
We have a Slack channel called Good Reviews. That like if you
get one, you're like, oh my god,
you just need to read a couple like a day, and oh my god, it fills you up and energizes you for the impact you're doing, and just like helps you go through the day no matter how hard it is. It really helps. Yeah,
it's so powerful.
Oh my god, it's the best.
Okay, let's talk about the events. So I love how you guys are activating. You're doing so many IRL events. You did something at Pause. I love the Alfred one because we are Alfred girls over here. We
Alfred girlies.
Alfred boys, Alfred girls.
Yes.
Alfred. And you guys did the coolest thing. You gave everyone free coffee on their period. And I just think like you guys do a lot of like cool in like you can elaborate on different events you guys have done, but like a lot of different community like brunches, different things that are you guys are doing them consistently.
Yeah.
So I would love to hear your whole take on like why you are investing in IRL events.
Yeah. So it's actually, and we can kind of get into it, it's actually a fairly new thing for us. We really this year committed to doing more IRL experiences. We really, for the first 3 to 4 years of our business, we're really committed on connecting with our customers, spending on, digital ads and building our community. And then I think this year was our big push of doing these events to physically connect with our community. And it has been absolutely incredible. It's been so amazing. More for me on a personal basis to see these women in real life and have these conversations in person. It's been really special, but it definitely did take us a minute to get there and, have that.
Yeah, I think in the early days as you're building a business, you need to be able to track every dollar. So you spend $1 and you're like, okay,
listening can relate.
Yeah.
this better equal 2.
Nice to take everyone out for a lunch.
Exactly. Like doing our salty girl brunch was like the biggest thing for us. It was such a big deal.
We wanted to, I'm going to sound like the wet blanket over here, but we wanted to wait until we could be responsible with that, until we could make sure that we're at a point that we can do something that has impact, that is true to our values of, the theme that brings all these events together is how can we break down taboos? That is what our real life strategy is all about. How can you bring these people together to break taboos surrounding women's health? But also how can we do it in a way that is responsible and fueling business growth? And I think I was more hesitant. Brianna was the push for it. And oh my God, the result has been amazing.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's another business lesson. It shows, me being like the creative one and Bobby being the business fiscally responsible one.
It's good friction. It's good friction.
It was because right from the get-go, we're especially in LA, we see all of these events happening all the time and these brands doing these great activations.
Doing events, you learn really quickly
it's
how
pricey.
Those are.
Oh, yeah.
People have no idea who don't do them.
I know. It's really costly and it takes a lot of time and effort. And, me being a more social butterfly and kind of seeing this aspect on socials, I was, from the get-go, let's do an influencer dinner, let's do this, let's do that. And Bobby's like, slow your roll, queen. let's get established first. And I promise one day we will.
The day has come.
And the day has come. And it was so funny because in the new year, and we'll probably have, some 2024 conversations. Yeah. But 2023, Bobby came to me, he's like, buckle up. Your time to shine. We can do events now. And I was like, let's do it. I was so happy.
I think it also meshes with our strategy, right? I think the strategy of growing from a direct-to-consumer brand strictly on e-com, where your community's on e-com, where you're spending on e-com, makes sense. I think as we're looking to 2024 and O Positiv will be in brick-and-mortar stores and expanding into new channels, then guess what? We should be off our phones and in real life as well and put Brianna in front of it. Where our product is, we should be. So that is part of the 2024 strategy that, yes, we have gotten started on early, which is really fun.
Yes.
Okay, retail. You guys landed a huge account. Target.
We did.
Huge. People are really like, I would die to be in Target.
Absolute dream.
Yeah,
absolute dream.
How? How did this journey embark? Like, how did you guys get that placement?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it really is just a testament to what we had been doing online. I think that we had.
Did they reach out?
Yes. Yeah. And we have been thinking for a long time about how we wanted to go retail. There's a lot of different avenues, and we were really committed to waiting for that big launch and that right partner. And for us, Target is particularly special. I'll go on like a side little soliloquy really quick. But our mom is an inventor, and she's really one of the people who inspired the creativity in us and really instilled this idea to dream, and that dreaming was beautiful and okay, and she's an angel on earth. So she really instilled this creativity in Bobby and I from a young age. Yeah. And she has patents and would come up with these ideas in her early motherhood while we were little. So in an effort to help us wash our hands, she came up with an idea to put a toy on a tube of hand soap to try to encourage kids, because we would be coming home from preschool, like, sick every day. So she came up with this invention for a toy on a tube of soap, licensed it to Colgate-Palmolive. It was a soft soap sold nationwide. So she created this whole idea. So when we were little, we got to go to Target and see our mom's product on the shelves on an end cap. And it
wherever we were.
Yeah.
If we were in like on a family vacation.
Yeah, we would let's go to Target and see mommy's product. And, we would take pictures by the aisle. And it was just such an incredible, and it felt like such a once in a lifetime thing for our family. It was so cool and so unique and rare. And the fact that we can now follow in her footsteps and say that we have a product on an end cap in Target is just so full circle for us. So the Target aspect is very, very special to us. And we're very honored and happy to have them as our exclusive retail partner.
Yeah, they're truly such an incredible partner to launch a brand with, because we're looking at them not only as somewhere to launch retail and be our first brick and mortar account, but also as an innovation partner. They have such a pulse on consumers. They have such a pulse specifically on women's health, where they're investing a lot of money and a lot of time and energy. And we wanted to be kind of their specific supplement partner for their personal care aisle. So we want to be right next to the tampons. We want to be where people are going to be and talk about these issues. And they're looking at O Positiv as hopefully kind of a platform, not only to have the great products that we have, but really this feedback loop of, okay, what does their guest want? How can we serve her
more
best?
Product
Exactly.
from this now.
Exactly.
And that's what we wanted in our first partner, someone that's going to be a true teammate.
And we're
I
so
love
excited.
How broad Target is,
Yes.
It's like there's some niche brands. Like we're lucky to live in LA, and there's so many like niche little shops that maybe we like to go to.
Of course.
But like that's a little subset of the population. That's not even a reflection of even if say like millennial women shop at this store, it's not even a representation of like everyone in society, because that's like in LA, people have very different lifestyles.
Absolutely.
And whenever I leave our little bubble, I'm like, this is just a little bubble.
It really is. And part of the reason why I'm so excited about Target too is because I do feel like people outside of, our little bubble, or people that might have seen our ads on TikTok that may have not pulled the trigger yet, are going to be walking through the aisles of Target, see something that they recognize and be like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try it. It's right here in front of me. So we're really excited to see the growth of our products in retail and see how it evolves. Yeah.
It's an interesting idea that you invest so much in marketing, and right now it kind of whittles down to who gets to your website and your conversion rate on your website. And now you just have this whole other bucket of retail, of people walking in the stores and how have they seen your ads? How do they feel about the brand, and giving them that opportunity to purchase? It's something amazing to add to our ecosystem.
I love that. Would your best piece of advice be like for someone who would aspire to get like their product into a Target or a Costco, or like would you say like go hard on like digital? Is that like the strategy that's best served for you guys?
I think so. I think it's use digital as your testing ground and proof of concept. The last thing you want to do is go retail without product market fit, right? You have one chance. They're only going to take one chance on you and your product. So it's get kind of that proof point of this is what you're able to do. This is what the customer's like. How can we adjust it? And then take that retail step, because when you show up in retail, you want to make sure it's your best foot forward.
Totally, and it can continue to grow from there. What is your personal like favorite platform for content marketing?
I mean, I'm such an Instagram girly.
TikTok's the new.
I know, it's the new frontier. And I feel like two things, twofold. So I feel like for me, ads on Instagram resonate with me. And then I feel like organic content on TikTok also resonates with me.
And you've seen
personally.
That transfer on the brand too?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when people, there's all these viral TikTok products or methods or, who knows, foods. And the way that like snowballs, I think is so interesting. And I'm like, oh, wait, if everyone's doing it, I want to do it. So for me personally, I think that's kind of how how I get influenced.
Yeah.
How about you?
As the younger brother, I'm a TikTok boy all the way. I think
Millennial.
I think what I admire about TikTok and what I think is incredibly powerful is that it can give voice to people as long as the content's good. So it puts content above followers, above likes, above this. If you make good content and you put time into it and you kind of spend time understanding how the algorithm works, you can get in front of millions of people without having millions of followers. Yeah. So I think just as an opportunity for young brands, as an opportunity as people even with growing brands, that's where I always coach to invest a lot of time, because you can hit it out of the park in a matter of weeks if you nail your content, when it could take years on Instagram.
Yeah, that's very true.
I love that. I know. I also think like there's going to be a huge like uptick in like email, SMS. Well, I'm huge on like IRL communities, because if you can do that, then you can put them anywhere they want to go. Like that's why I'm like, why aren't we doing SMS and email? Because we're doing the events and people are like, oh, I would sign up for you to email me or like text me. And I think those communities, you control it all, which is nice.
Yep.
There's so much there.
So much.
So on this podcast, we're huge on manifestation and like creating any life you want, because anything can be your reality. Like you want Forbes under 30 and you're in the age, you can have Forbes under 30.
Yes, you can.
Dream man and you want to live in New York. Brianna,
let's go. Just kidding.
Bi-coastal, you can have that too.
Yes.
Did you guys manifest this growth of O Positiv? Like, did you guys vision board it out when you started? Are you guys doing that now? Are you like, okay, 2024, we're going to launch 6 new products? Like, what's like the big picture vision planning that you guys do?
Bobby is the king of manifestation.
We're like same brain.
The way that he was such an early adopter on this, like I'm telling you, when we were still living in our parents' house when we were children, like he was 13, 14, making vision boards, had his board.
Who taught you that? Anyone?
I kind of just discovered it. I was just read books and you try it out, and like then it's mirrored in yourself. It's mirrored in your life, and you're like, wait, that's kind of how it was happening. And it's this idea of just this positive spirit. I think is massive. That's why part of the reason O Positiv is named O Positiv is just how can we have positive impacts, but also be positive to ourselves and treat ourselves right.
Oh, I love that.
And it's this idea that I think is so powerful, which is you can set goals and visualize your future and not get stuck in the minutia of how you're going to get there. And that doesn't mean you're not working towards it, right? You should work your ass off and take steps in the direction of getting there. But you don't have to be so stuck on, I have to take A, B, C step exactly on this path. The path is going to be meandering, but you should be laser focused on this idea and confidence that like, yeah, that's going to happen. Of course it's going to happen. I just got to keep taking these steps. And to both of us, that has been a incredible mindset that we have built our lives and business on. I think.
Yeah, it's the undeniable faith and belief that like, oh, it's gonna happen. Like, there's no doubt. And like,
you have to have that belief.
Bobby, for Forbes specifically, had the logo printed out on his mood board for years.
I love this.
Years.
Yeah.
And like for me, my dream school was UCLA, and I put all my eggs in that basket. And I just kind of like. I did work for it, of course, and I went through those steps that I thought I needed to do to take me there. But at the end of the day, like, I didn't know if it was going to happen, but I did know because there was no other option. And
there's
Bobby really taught me that.
Yeah, and there's this idea that it's not going to be 100% of the vision, but it might be 95, and 95 is a whole lot better than 0, right? So it's like paint the 100%. And like work towards it. And at the end of the day, you're going to look back and you're like, okay, it's 95. That's pretty fantastic, right?
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer, like when you're doing the work and you're doing all the actions A to Z, and you also like I'm huge on manifestation, like when you detach from the outcome, you have that belief and that mindset, and you just know that internal belief system is key. But then when you detach from the outcome, you surrender and you trust and you have that faith that you said, then it manifests in even a better way. Like sometimes like you can get like, this investor can bum into you at a coffee shop and you thought like, oh, I had to pitch this deck 30 times, X amount of days a week. And like, you can be Like, I just think synchronicities and abundance flows even faster.
It's so crazy how little things do manifest, because they kind of can manifest in different ways than you expected.
Always,
like you'll be focusing on like a certain meeting or a certain brand or a certain person even, and then it's like, oh wait, like you ended up having a meeting with that person years later, and it's like it's so crazy how things like
all in divine timing.
It's very
like the target like landed exactly when it needed to, you know?
Absolutely.
It's what you think about. It's like what you think about becomes reality. I believe that 100%. So it's like,
I love that.
so make your thoughts positive and make your thoughts powerful, because it most likely will come true in my experience. Yeah.
Perfect into what I want to talk about next, which is like routines, non-negotiable habits. Like the things that you do daily shape your reality. I like believe that. I'm huge on routine. I'm huge on a calendar. I'm huge on scheduling. And I think it's like, because how I show up to this day and how I like take charge of my days creates the results I get in my reality that I live. So both of you guys live busy lives, you know, like also, Bobby, like you have a huge company. You're also engaged. You're also an amazing partner for your fiance, who's one of my best friends.
She is,
like, I know you show up in that relationship so abundantly. Yeah. And Brianna, like you're doing the most with like everything you do in your life. You know, you're going to New York. You're being so public facing for the brand. You're prioritizing your own wellness and routines. So like, what are the things that you guys have to do to show up the abundant humans, the positive selves that you are?
Yeah.
So it's funny. Routine is something that I desperately need to work on.
Good
and and it's definitely one of my goals for 2024. I would say, it sounds so silly, the one constant in my life that is like my biggest routine is probably calling my mom the first when I wake up in the morning.
Good time.
I probably like, you know, I brush my teeth. I walk to coffee every morning. That's really like a big thing for me. I love having that moment to just kind of like separate from my phone. I take my little walk. I get my Alfred. I walk back and I call my mom. And just, you know, talking to her and how'd you sleep? And like having that connection with my sweet, amazing mom at the beginning of the day kind of just sets me off for what I'm going to do. So I would say that's my biggest constant in the morning, and my biggest routine. I wake up, do my thing, get my coffee, call my mom.
Love that so much.
I definitely have
Bobby's a routine. Yeah.
I am routine boy. I'm a Huberman listening protocol building guy. So I think routine's so important. I like to be very structured in how I think and how I operate my day. So I like to wake up. First thing I like to do is get moving. Like I have to have a sweat. I think I am one of those people that can't necessarily think alone. So like my mind goes so quickly. So in any way that I can quiet my mind to kind of structure my thoughts is incredibly helpful. So a workout is always needed. So I do my workout. I jump into cold water as so either a cold shower or a cold plunge to kind of get everything going and set my day up. And then I'm an early riser. So I like getting to the office like at least an hour and a half before everyone else can. So that's my time to set up my day, right? It's the time that, you know, I love being there for the team and being there to answer any questions, but I can't do that unless I have time, at least at the start of the day, to structure it out. So answering emails, writing my list down of how the day is going to go, and even structuring out time that's unstructured. So I'll be like, okay, from 3 to 4 is unstructured time for me to think or do research or do these things.
Oh my God, I know.
Very much opposites. Is kind of how I go through my day. And then it's all about people. Like I'm an extrovert. I get fueled up by talking to other people. So my entire day is meetings, which I love, to help make decisions, help structure, help other people think through problems. And then at the end of the day, I come in early so then I can leave early. I think I prioritize family just like our family always did. So leaving the office at 5:36 to come home to Caitlin, to spend time with her, to hear about her day, to cook dinner together. We cook dinner together almost every single night.
Or date night.
Yeah, or date night.
Fridays.
Exactly. Date night is on Fridays. I think it's so important. So it's to me structuring out the balance, which maybe is counterintuitive, but that's kind of how I operate. Yeah.
Love that. And, you know, discipline creates freedom. I'm like on that side.
I'm
wow.
very much in that world.
That is very much his vibe. Yes.
Yeah,
100%. I'm more like free flowing,
I love
going
that,
where the day
though.
takes me.
But I think from this conversation that makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
But that's why
And it
we
also
work
is
together.
whatever works for you, because both of you guys are both so successful, and it's a different path. So I always like to enforce that, like, just because I'm like a Bobby in this conversation, and I will do episodes on my morning routine, but I'm like, this doesn't have to be your morning routine.
100% doesn't
like
have to.
it can be the flowing, like wake up, have a walk, and like less steps. And be amazing.
And I actually really love when every day looks a little different, personally. Like, to me, the monotony of some things like gets a little like much for me. I love working from a different place every day. Maybe going to Malibu, or maybe going to West Hollywood and working on my computer, and then working from home, and then going into the office. To me, that keeps things so interesting. It helps me.
It fills you up.
Yeah, it fills me
Creatively,
up creatively, absolutely. And it also, I think the differentiation also keeps my mind sharp, so that I don't kind of like, if I do the same thing every day, I kind of like zone out, I guess. I don't know.
We probably get sharper.
I need to be productive.
I kind of like
the same. It can be cold.
changing it up. The temperature has to be exactly the
I
same.
have my habit stack.
Yep.
I need to hit this many steps, otherwise the day's hell.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But I'm working through it to also have more of the balance, because I think there's so much beauty in having that flow. And sometimes I do that, and then I'm like, wow, I actually feel like less stressed throughout the day. So it's beautiful.
I really, one of my goals is getting into more of like a fitness consistency throughout. So that's going to be my 2024
It's
goal.
magical. Getting
It is,
sweating every day.
And I
is
try to like
magical.
do something, but I do it at different times, or I do a yoga and then a walk and then something else. But I need to like, that's one thing I really want to lock down.
It's coming.
It's
coming. Next
New
year.
Year's resolution.
What is ahead? Can you guys share anything exciting? Like, we're coming to an end on the podcast. What can people get excited about with O Positiv in 2024?
I mean, I think Target is our main thing. Like, that is just such a huge thing for our brand.
Any Target?
So we're launching in 250 stores nationwide, and then by the spring we'll be in 1,200. So
We'll have like a little locator.
that would be fantastic.
We'll have it on the website as well, so we can.
We'll have our store locator. So that's definitely our huge 2024 push, is this amazing retail launch, and then
I think constant what we always do, but I think even more in 2024 is probably two things that Brianna didn't mention is constant product innovation. I think this idea that we want to follow a woman from her first period to her last period and all of these moments in between, we have not fulfilled that mission yet. So it's we're on a path.
We're just getting started.
We're on a path to fulfill that on every key life moment. So we're launching one new brand next year, which will be focusing around pregnancy, which we're really excited about, and then scaling into kind of other categories as well. So cool. And then lastly is, how do we continue on our path of being the front runners in science and result-based supplements and products. So as we're looking to next year, we're going to be doing clinical studies on our core products on the finished goods. So we can actually have finished double-blind placebo studies on our products to give everyone more confidence, but also hopefully set a standard for the industry that we can.
That's a big deal.
We can do this in the
Studies
supplement
is
space.
a big deal for listeners. Like, that's a big investment.
It is.
But it's a reward when you do it.
absolutely, yeah. So we're really excited about that too.
Founders with booming personal brands, plug away how people can connect with you guys, how they can also connect with O Positiv, support all the channels. We'll have it all linked too, but like verbally.
Great, yeah. So O Positiv, at O Positiv, no E, so POSITIV is our Instagram, website, all of that. And then we have accounts for specifically all of our brands. So we have at Flow Vitamins, at Meno Vitamins at Eurovitamins. And then me personally, I'm Brianna Bitton. And that's just my Instagram, all of the things.
Yeah, she nailed it. I'm Bobby Bitton. Excited for what's to come. And yeah, please follow along. Please share any experiences anyone has with products. We love to hear everyone's thoughts.
In the DMs?
In the DMs. Email.
On our website, we have, you can leave reviews, but
You
DMs
can find
are,
us.
yeah.
Is that where you guys
around.
post your IRL events too?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. All of that on our Instagrams.
Oh, thank you guys both so much.
Thank you for having us.
Such a pleasure. We've known you guys forever.
Oh my God. I know.
I feel energized
I'll
just
do
from
it
this
again.
conversation.
Yes.
So it's good.
Thank
Yeah.
you for everything.